Alright, so this is a review of the materials that were covered this week. So the first thing that you guys began to study was climate systems and weather. And it's important to highlight here that we are calling it a system versus just climate. And this is to emphasize that a climate consists of several different pieces that work together. So weather refers to the state of the atmosphere in a particular place and time. And when we talk of atmosphere, we talk about the gases in the atmosphere. So let me find it here. So the atmosphere is actually it's very short compared to the amount of space here. We have the mesosphere, stratosphere, and all of that, but we're just concerned right now with the atmosphere. It's about 4 to 12 kilometers high, so not that much. But we really want to know here is so what makes the atmosphere so important is because there's a really high concentration of gases right here. Right, so if you move a troposphere, it becomes thinner and thinner and thinner. Okay, so let me go back here. So the other thing I want to show you is that the atmosphere is mostly nitrogen, which is in blue, and oxygen in red, and then there's some trace gases, and then greenhouse gases. And the greenhouse gases, what makes them different is that they're able to trap heat very well. And we'll talk about why they're able to trap heat later on. But a key here, or a hint of why they trap heat, notice how this is carbon dioxide. So notice how carbon dioxide moves differently than nitrogen and oxygen. So that's a hint or a key to understanding why they're able to trap heat. But anyway, this is the gases that consist of the atmosphere. So when we're looking at weather, we're looking at how those gases behave. Okay. So weather occurs over short time periods. The weather prediction usually covers days and weeks, and we know that's not that accurate, but based on what it is, actually it's pretty impressive that we're able to predict it. Weather is an expression of the climate system. So on a discussion board, there are a lot of questions. What is weather? What is climate? So weather is an expression of the climate. Weather is controlled by temperature, pressure, and volume of gases. That is why you guys, the previous topic was gas laws, because you do need to understand how temperature and pressure interact, how temperature and volume interact. And if you remember when you did the combined gas law, which is temperature, pressure, and volume, temperature was the driver of the outcome that you would see. And that's why when you look at weather or when you look at climate, you're going to be looking at temperature. So climate system is driven by several things. So I listed some of them. How close the Earth is to the sun, how much of the sun's energy gets reflected back into space, the number and type of molecules in the atmosphere, okay, the Earth ocean and atmospheric currents. So if you remember convection and how convection transfers heat, right? So we can think of that. And then biospheres, which contributes to the gas concentrations, right? So here's the way climate is studied. It has to be long-term. So this graph looks at temperature differences over a period of time. This is more than 100 years. The black dotted lines are annual concentrations or annual temperature differences. And then in red are the mean. So you can see that just looking at annual differences, it is really hard to make any conclusions because it goes up and down, up and down. But if you look over a 5-year, you can start seeing more trends. And then if you look at a 30-year or a 5-year, you can see even more. And then if you look over a 100-year span, you can definitely see a trend for sure. So the key that I want you to understand here is that when you look at climate, you have to look over a very large span of time. So why is climate important? Well, it dictates weather, and we know that the weather affects our daily lives. Climate affects long-term decisions by humans. Climate affects long-term trends in plants and animals. So the other topics that we covered, and we are going to cover a lot more next week, is greenhouse gases. So here's the Earth, here's the atmosphere. Remember that? I'll show back so that way you can look back what we did. Right, here's the atmosphere. Back. All right. So this is the gases, and it works. It's all around, right? The gases are all around the Earth. So when the sun emits radiation, right? It emits ultraviolet radiation as well as infrared radiation. It's able to, let me see if I have this, there we go. It's able to reach the ground, and then it comes back out. So it refracts, just like if you're hitting a tennis ball against the wall, the ball is going to come back to you. So the same thing here, these rays of light hit the Earth and reflect back towards space in the form of UV as well as infrared. So here's what happens. When the energy from the sun hits the Earth, it loses a bit of energy. So when it's refracted back, it becomes infrared radiation, which is a weaker type of electromagnetic radiation. So what happens here, because it's weaker and because it has a different frequency, a lot of it, not a lot of it, actually about 50% of it does not escape the atmosphere. It actually gets trapped by these gases, these greenhouse gases. So that's what it says here. Gases in the atmosphere pick up some of the heat from the infrared rays and disperse them back into the atmosphere, keeping the Earth warm enough to sustain life. So only certain gases do this. Just like dogs can hear frequencies that humans cannot because of the eardrums vibrate with different wavelengths than ours. So only certain gases are able to absorb those infrared radiations. If this did not happen, the Earth would be about 60 Fahrenheit colder, and there wouldn't be life wouldn't be able to be sustained on Earth. So because of this greenhouse gases, we have the Earth the way it is. So greenhouse gases are called greenhouse gases because they keep some heat in the atmosphere to sustain life on Earth, as greenhouse gases does in a greenhouse gas, or in a greenhouse to keep the cold from the outside. Natural versus enhanced. So lots of climate chemists believe that humans are producing more of the naturally occurring greenhouse gases than the atmosphere naturally is able to handle it. Okay, and this is some sources of greenhouse gases. When greenhouse gases are produced by us, it's called anthropogenic, just means human-made. So go back here. No, actually I want to go back here. Okay. So this lesson you did it yesterday, and this is one of the graphs that you had to analyze. This is change in temperature. This is amount of carbon dioxide. We all know that carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. So this is amount of carbon dioxide. The lines in blue are Earth's temperature. In green are carbon dioxide, and this is just in dust. So let's not worry about the red one. Let's just focus on the blue and the green. So again, blue means temperature, green means amount of carbon dioxide. In terms of scale, we are looking at 400,000 years ago. That's a crazy number. So it begins with 0, so nowadays to 400,000 years ago. So we're able, so you can see here, we're able to predict that back, okay, that far back. And there's no denying that the trend of changing temperature to the amount of carbon dioxide is right on. As it should be, right? We just covered why carbon dioxide or greenhouse gases are able to trap heat, and it makes sense that the more you increase the amount of carbon dioxide, the higher the temperature would be. One question that I want to be able to talk to you guys about is, how do we know the amount of carbon dioxide or the change in temperature that far back? Like 400,000 years ago, we probably didn't have a thermometer back then. We use proxies. There are lots and lots of proxies. The one proxy I want to talk to you guys about is ice cores. So in Antarctica, Greenland, and some of those very polar places where snow does not melt, it just accumulates over many years. So what scientists do is that they put cylinders all the way down and collect samples from miles and miles long of ice. And just like a tree ring, each ring represents a year, the length or the depth of the ice is also going to be related to years. So they're able to take samples from really deep down permafrost probably, or just ice, and they're able to predict temperature by how water breaks down, and is pretty complex because it relates to how oxygen actually begins to degrade into its isotopes. But we're looking at water when we look at temperature, and when it snows, or when it snowed back then, every time it snows, gases get trapped in the snow. So there's actually tons of CO2 that's trapped in the snow, methane that's trapped in the snow. So they're able to measure concentration of those gases in the snow. Okay, so here's some pictures of it. So that is how we know. Okay, so this is the last slide. So you might be wondering, why do some gases absorb heat and others don't? I plan to talk to you guys more about that, and we're gonna have a lesson on that. What is Earth's heat budget? That's something that you also saw in your previous lesson that I plan on talking to you guys more about. And why isn't climate always changing, right? So we talk about all those moving pieces, and they're always changing. So why is this current change so significant? And again, we're going to talk about those things right later on. That is it. Let me know if you have any questions.